Hey, what's up, everyone? This is me, Dre. I wanted to make this video because with Donald Trump boasting that if he were to earn the seat of presidency or win the candidacy for presidency, he would ban Muslims, even U.S. Muslims that are outside the country, from entering the United States. This whole Islamophobia is disrespecting and discrediting the peaceful Muslims that are here in the United States. There are plenty of Muslims that decry the terroristic acts of radical Muslims from ISIS and those that have been radicalized and that are here. The main thing is, when you're looking at the racism behind it, it's easy to see, and I've pointed that out. You have the likes of this guy, the couple that did the shooting in San Bernardino. Because they're Muslim, it's considered a terrorist act. But a week prior, you had a white guy that shot up a Planned Parenthood facility, and they're just saying that he's angry at the government and shit like that. But they're not calling that terrorism. You have Mohammed Yusuf Abdulaziz. He shot up the Forest Service members in Tennessee, and they're calling him a terrorist. But a few weeks prior to that, you had Dylan Roof walk into a black church, claimed that because black people were taking out white women, the black worshipers in that church, 9 people died. But they're just saying that he was deranged. They fed this motherfucker a hamburger instead of shooting his ass dead. When you look at the fact that you have Nidal Hassan, the army, I don't know what rank he was, but in Fort Hood, when he shot those 13 people, or however many that it was, they're calling him a terrorist simply because he's Muslim. But when you look at Sergeant Eusebio Lopez in Quantico, when he killed those 2 or 3 people, they never called him a terrorist. A Mexican American, or that, I don't know if he's a Mexican American or just, I'll just say Latino, but they didn't call him a terrorist. So the general trend is, if you got brown skin and if you have a typical last name from someone that's from Pakistan, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, something like that, automatically you're considered a terrorist because you practice Islam and you're a Muslim. But if you're a white Christian, you're either considered deranged, clinically schizophrenic, angry at the government. There's always some sort of excuse for a white person that commits a crime. And it's not just about white people, because when Aaron Alexis, black guy, shot up the Navy shipyard, they never called him a terrorist. They just said that he was angry. But if you're a Muslim, all of a sudden you're a terrorist. And I despise that notion, because, again, there are a lot of U.S. citizens serving in the military that are Muslim. And the disrespect for all the people that says, let's bow our heads, and for the men and women that serve this country. But there's an exception. If they're Muslim, who gives a fuck? That's the generalization for Muslims, and I can't stand behind that. I can't even say that I'm embarrassed with this country, because as a black man, this is the kind of bullshit that we've experienced. The racism that's gone on since we've been in this country 400 and some odd years. And even though people like to say you need to let that go, slavery no longer exists. No, slavery doesn't exist, but the mindset and the racism that's following people, that still exists to this day. So if anyone says racism doesn't exist, kiss my black ass, and I'll make sure that I don't put lotion on it so you can kiss it extra ashy at that. But it is fucked up that people would think that there's not a problem with race in this country. And whenever you see it in the news, especially when it comes to Islam, all you have to hear is that there is some sort of terroristic attack. And all of a sudden, you've got white people with, in those states that have open carry laws, you have groups of white people, white Christians, following Muslims to the mosque, and they're sitting there protesting outside. And all it's going to take, because it's already a powder keg, and all it takes is for someone to have a lit match for shit to go off. And all it's going to take is for one of these trigger-happy assholes to get into a verbal exchange, and next thing you know, bullets are going to fly, and no one's going to call them terrorists, but that's what it is. But all of a sudden, if Muslims were to gather outside of a church, a Christian church, and they're expressing their open carry rights, they're going to be arrested, they're going to be castigated, they're going to be labeled terrorists. That's the kind of bullshit and the double standard of this country. I cannot stand behind that. Now, I'm supposed to be proud of my country, but in this day and age where we have someone like Donald Trump who's spreading fear, when people he's already allowed and kind of co-signed when the Black Lives Matter member was escorted out and people were assaulting him. No arrests were made. That's the ironic part. But all of a sudden, if someone black was running for office and he was having a rally, and all of a sudden this quote-unquote all lives matter or white lives matter member comes along, and all of a sudden he's escorted out and he's got a rain of punches thrown down on him, they're going to look through the camera footage. They're going to arrest every black person that assaulted this white man or white woman. So that's the double standard of this fucking country. That's the sad part about it. It's just the general racism. And because people are co-signing to Donald Trump and his message for hate against Muslims, while at the same time disrespecting the Muslims that serve this country. For those members, I can't even say I apologize. I'm not going to apologize for Donald Trump. But your message to Donald Trump, I stand behind those Muslims, not saying, you know, we should go out and kill every white person. I don't stand behind that message at all, because I have 2 biracial kids that are half white. So I don't call for any violence against anyone of any ethnicity. But I strongly stand against racism. And unfortunately, with this fucked up country, there's a lot to stand up against. Anyway, if you like this video, I hope that you like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to check me out on Facebook. Peace.